All right, we are trying this again. Kelly, I wanted to send you a video follow-up to our phone call, and this is like my fourth take. Um, anyway, it's not as easy to do a live broadcast as I thought it would be. Anyway, I just thought I would give it a try. Um, I had mentioned to you that I was recommending to you the Tao Te Ching, um, the translation by Stephen Mitchell. So that is a book that I had first read in high school, and I probably reread it a couple of times. And this is the journal that has my notes from a few years ago when I decided to listen to the audiobook, write it out by hand. So I would like listen to a line from the audiobook, write it out by hand, like listen to the audiobook, pause it, write it out by hand, restart it, listen to another line, pause it, and so I would listen to the audiobook, write it out by hand, and then once I had written it out all by hand, I went back and typed it out from my handwritten notes so that I could have like a digital copy saved. I was going to say, fortunately, because in case there was like a fire or something. And yeah, so this is the introduction to Stephen Mitchell's The Tao Te Ching, and then I also mentioned the Bhagavad Gita, which is also by Steve Mitchell. This is a library copy, and I sent you the links that are links to the library. Okay, so this is from the introduction to his book. Tao Te Ching can be translated as the Book of the Eminence of the Way, or the Book of the Way and How It Manifests Itself in the World, or simply the Book of the Way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been older contemporary of Confucius between the years 551 and 479 BCE, and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. But all of the information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, quote, the old master, or more picturesquely, quote, the old boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace and large-heartedness and deep wisdom. One of the true wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a dropout from society, dwelling serenely in some mountain hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teaching that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception of Lao Tzu may arise from his insistence on wei wu wei, literally doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter into a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Wow, so amazing that I'm rereading this now because, like, again, I know at the time when I was writing this, I felt like I was really getting it. I was really understanding it. But a couple of months, I feel like a lot of these words, I don't know, they seem new again, which is cool. Nothing is done because the doer has vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe. In the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing, not doing, will see how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or a woman who is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not just an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds deep within her own experience a central truth of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface. That the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally, she is able to see in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense. Unencumbered by any concept of sin, the master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with the dirty window, the light can't shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his compassion for the selfish and the wicked. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called, what is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, and this is where I was telling you, you'll think it's cool. I've used the pronoun she at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is essentially us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype as other versions have ironically done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she or vice versa. As to method, I work from Paul Harris's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint, Ba, 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 ba. All right, I think I will stop there. But just as an example, so this is the first paragraph of the Tao Te Ching. Chapter 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you only see the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestation arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. Okay, so I think I will end it there. Later.